this. With that being said, is there anything that you want to address or anything that you want to say based on what I have spoken of?
Well, first off, thank you, Councilman. And whether or not I need your vote or not, I wanted to earn it, as I think this is an issue that, if possible, should be all council members unified, because I think it is a really important issue for our community. And obviously, we'd be open to any transparency, conflict of interest language. Most of those things are in place in our operation anyway. But specifically what that language looks like, we'd be open to those kinds of amendments or whatever you'd like. Or as the process goes forward as a contract signing, I understand we could put that language in there. If that's not acceptable enough, I understand that. I mean, I respect the concerns you're bringing forward.
I don't mind that. So you have conflict of interest with your group. How do we incorporate that with folks in the city, either employed or appointed? That's, if we could somehow incorporate that to encompass employees or appointed or kin thereof, I'd be all for it.
When I served on the council, it was a different charter, and there used to be language in there specific to that. I don't know if there still is anymore. I should know as a resident, but I didn't follow the approved charter rewrite a few years ago. I don't know if there's ordinances or things of that nature, but anything like that could be written into the contract. If that's not acceptable by tonight's vote, I understand. Obviously, we'll be coming back here multiple times to kind of give updates, both in written and in person, and there may be a time to extend that. If we want to show you first, I respect that as well, and obviously I'll let Kelly answer. But I think the concerns you have are completely fine to be addressed. I don't specifically know how to do that in the language, but I think we could figure something out.
I'll just add, I think, to make it very easy and clear and transparent, having that language written in the RFP itself, so it's clear from the beginning, if you have that known conflict of interest, you are not eligible to apply. I think that's the easiest way, so everyone's on the same page from the very beginning. But I do agree with Jim. We also want to spell it out in the contract that we established with the City of Flint, because we want there to be trust, transparency, and confidence that we're giving these dollars to the people that we want to have them, and also keeping them out of the hands of folks that maybe should not, have that conflict of interest.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like the floor in the first round of discussion?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman Burns.
Thank you. Thank you for meeting with me, because you cannot, as big as this problem is, we cannot do it with a total of 8 minutes to discuss it. It's just not an adequate amount of time. I have been very adamant of having a comprehensive public safety plan with a comprehensive opioid plan. So for me, I have been researching this for a couple of years, and to see your plan is comprehensive. And I don't know if you haven't researched it, but when I was speaking with former Senator, and I guess you'll always be a senator, right? So speaking with you, and we realized that it was some of the same research I have had that was some of the same places, which really speaks to intervention, prevention, dealing with the family, all of and some call it pillars. And then we talked about the Portland, Oregon program Cahoots, and how they don't send out the police because with their data, they send out a medic, a social worker, and a therapist. And then it also helps with the police department, because they're usually the first ones on the call. And so I have been researching this for a couple of years. And so and thank you, I'm gonna read this book. You may not like it when you get it back, because I do dog ear books, because I like books. But I think this is important. I am with Dennis, Councilman Pfeiffer, when he says making sure that it's with an agency that has a proven track record. And the agencies that you're using, that we did go through, have a record, and they're in our community. I do not want these funds to be a slush fund for our opioid dollars to be used haphazardly for campaigning, and it has been. These dollars should be used to prevent intervention, continued education for this community with drug addiction, and it has not been that. You do work with Shebra, both of you, and have a good relationship from our public health office. But our public health office lacks the capacity and the talent to do what you can do. You're doing it. And you're working in the jails. You're working with Insight, other programs, RISE. And so when you're already in there, this is not a, I'm going to start up an organization, I'm going to become a drug rehab. No, it's not. No, we are not in these times. These people have serious drug addictions. And so
I got so many emails today. The time is now 5 o'clock, and I hereby call this meeting of the Finance Committee of the Flint City Council to order. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Alamin?
Present.
Dr. Lewis is not in. Ms. Johnson is not in. Ms. Priestley?
Present.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is not in. Ms. Burns is not in. Ms. Mashat?
Present.
Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett? Present. You have 4 members present.
We have 4 members present. However, there are 2 additional members located in the chamber, Madam Clerks. So we have,
Madam Chair,
yes.
this has been one of those issues that was addressed by legal opinion. However, a quorum has to be established. The rule speaks to a quorum being broken. So until the members sit in their seats.
Okay.
Thank you.
There we go. Do we need to do another roll call, Madam Clerk?
Yeah, that would be my
Okay.
preference. Time is 5:01 p.m. Mr. Alamin? Present. Dr. Lewis is not in. Ms. Johnson?
Present.
Ms. Priestley?
Present.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is not in. Ms. Burns?
Present.
Ms. Mashat? Present. Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett? Present. You have 6 members present.
We have 6 members present. Reading of disorderly persons, City Code subsection, any person that persists in disrupting this meeting will be in violation of Flint City Code Section 3110, disorderly conduct, assault and battery, and disorderly persons, and will be subject to arrest for misdemeanor. Any person who prevents the peaceful and orderly conduct of any meeting will be given 1 warning. If they persist in disrupting that meeting, that individual will be subject to arrest. Violators will be removed from the meeting. Are there any agenda changes or additions?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I have 2 add-on resolutions. The first is addressing resolution on your agenda 250370, first quarter budget amendment. The administration. Okay. The first has to do with resolution 250370-T, the first quarter budget amendment. The administration reached out, and the version that we have on your agenda is not the correct version. So I have a substitute. So what I'm asking the council to do is separate 370 and drop it, and we'll just add this additional one.
Okay, so this will be add-on 1?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll add on number 1.
I have it.
And you said you had 2?
And the second is a resolution to do all things necessary to test the air quality for mold and other hazards within the Flint Police Department building. And that will be add-on number 2.
Okay.
And it is being presented by 6th Ward Councilmember Burns. And the staff is handing out both copies right now.
Okay, that will be added without objection. Are there any other agenda? It was a resolution to test the air quality in the police department, but per Ms. Burns. That was a resolution for her. Okay, it is now time for public comment. Members of the public who wish to address the City Council or its committees must register before the meeting begins. A box will be placed at the entrance to the council chambers for collection of registrations. No additional speakers or slips will be accepted after the meeting begins. Members of the public shall have no more than 3 minutes per speaker during public comment, with only 1 speaking opportunity per speaker. Madam Clerk, who is our first public speaker?
The first speaker is Brenda Anderson.
Can you speak closer to the mic? It's hard to hear you. Thank you.
Okay. Due to the rise of community violence, seniors don't leave their homes except for doctor appointments, grocery shopping, visiting the drugstore, or church. There are not many places that's available for seniors to feel welcome, comfortable, or safe. McKinley Senior Center gives our senior population a place where they can feel safe, comfortable, among their peers. Senior centers benefit the elderly by promoting social connection. They combat loneliness by offering social activities and casual gatherings, which reduce social isolation and the risk of experiencing depression. Senior centers are a community within a community. It's a space where new friendships are formed and gives seniors a sense of belonging, which is critical for our mental well-being. The educational workshops, cognitive games, programs like art projects and crafts help to stimulate the mind and help to prevent mental decline. At McKinley Senior Center, they provide outreach programs, resource services to seniors and others in the community. Through education that helps to keep them healthy and safe, the demographic area of McKinley Senior Center are not always privileged to social programs and service in the immediate community. Many nonprofit organizations and community organizations have a tendency to focus on the north side area of Flint, leaving other areas of the community lacking in support, resources, and services. McKinley Senior Center Director had the foresight and opportunity to bridge the gap in these services by asking Motivated by Faith to provide needed support for the seniors. Motivated by Faith has provided education awareness support to seniors and the disabled on the first Thursday every month from 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. since July 2025 on human trafficking, particularly benefits trafficking, where seniors are exploited by predators. Motivated by Faith on the second Thursday every month from 1:30 to 2:30 since July 2025 provides sexual trauma and violence outreach groups for those seniors who may not have a support system where they can share their experience and know that they're not alone. Motivated Faith on the third Thursday provide mental health outreach groups so seniors have someone to talk to and share their experience with and have a safe space to discuss. Many seniors are breadwinners of their families, often are raising grandchildren. Motivated by Faith provided tennis shoes giveaway at McKinley Center on September 27, 2025, where 40% of the participants were seniors.
Hold on, ma'am. While we were messing with her mic, did the clock ever stop? Okay, we're going to give her 30 more seconds because that's what she started at 2:33.
Okay, I'll speed it up.
Okay, you've got 30 more seconds.
Okay, at the giveaway, 40% of the seniors had grandchildren with them. This coming Saturday, we're giving a boot giveaway for seniors and their family members so their kids can be safe during the harsh winter month. In December, we're doing a presentation with the CREAM, all focused on senior citizens. McKinley Center has provided programs and event activities designed to protect seniors' health and safety while providing resource information connection for those in service.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Stanley Wood.
Shout out to the bad kids on the bus back there I'm sitting with tonight. The resolution 250365, I'm assuming that was bidded out to hopefully multiple places, but I have a concern about doing business with a crooked company like LaFontaine Auto Group. If any of you guys have paid attention to the news, the state just shut down some of their dealerships for selling used cars as new cars. I think I would want to distance myself from a company like that. And then 250371, the reallocation of funds from ARPA category to city council or city ward priorities. We've been asking a million times how much money is left in the ARPA funds. Somebody has went through and done some very good work on that, and I'm actually going through verifying it right now. And when you look at all the motions and resolutions that have been put through, out of the 94 million, it's all been allotted for based on those resolutions, and another almost 9 million more than that. So I question what we really have left in the ARPA funds. Madam Clerk, I want to thank you for clearing up the quorum. I was going to bring that up, but you brought it up. So, and then to the Madam Clerk Secretary, I do like the idea of what you're writing down the times that the people show up that aren't here at the beginning of the meeting. It's making it easier for my report that I'm doing. Madam Clerk, thank you for fulfilling my request for an appointment with you. I look forward to talking with you. Residency, I mean, we covered this over and over. I just had 2 news outlets in the last 2 days reach out to me, one from Flint area and one from the Detroit area. Both of them wanted some questions answered about Leon's residency. He's made it pretty easy with all the paper trail for his. So Leon, your facade is crumbling. And if anybody's not busy, at 9 p.m. tonight on the Flint Urban News Station YouTube channel, there's going to be a special called Surviving Leon. Victim recounts chilling encounters with him. And then the last thing I want to do is, and I'm going to send this to you guys, in talking with my attorney, we went over HIPAA violations and what truly are HIPAA violations. And I can tell you based on this, and I'm going to send to you guys, the common lay person, even in a public forum, is not required to adhere to the HIPAA standards.
The next speaker is Arthur Woodson.
Hello, everyone. Man, Jonathan, I'm jealous of you, man. You just had a bald head and you had hair back already, man. Damn, that's something different. I can't even grow mine. Hey, Clyde, City Administrator Clyde Edwards, I'm gonna have to talk about you today. You know I love you to death, man. But I'm gonna have to talk about you today. DPW, Deputy DPW, he just got here in August and he's leaving already. He ain't ever, y'all don't know him because he never came to a council meeting because he lives in Canada and he leaves Flint at 3 o'clock so he can beat the traffic back to Wisner, Canada. I seen a post for the deputy position. What is going on with the DPW? Man, Mr. Miller was here, man. That's the only DPW person I didn't argue with. Never. I would write an email to Eagle. Eagle say something to him, and he would come to my email and say, just reach out to me if you have an issue, and we can talk about it and discuss it and work it out that way. That was the only DPW person that really I felt that he had the best interest of Flint. The water has improved tremendously, but our pipes are still messed up. Our water isn't safe, man. I don't care what nobody say. Our water is not safe. You still smells. Some areas are still brown. And I don't believe they testing it, the LCR sampling, doing it correctly. Because I saw a Flint Township zip code, even though they say it's Flint. They say it's Flint, but I don't believe they are sampling it right, because On the sampling, I saw a lot of 407s, 406. I didn't see that many 405, 505s, 504s, and some 503s. I didn't see that many of them. Well, we don't get the addresses of where they testing, and all they test is 60 of them. So we need, would y'all please call City Administrator Clyde Edwards up and question him about the city DPW positions, because we need someone that has experience and knowledge of the water, so that we don't go backwards with our water distribution system and things work out right. Thank you.
The next speaker is Sarah Houston.
On October 31st, the mayor of Flint, Sheldon Neely, held a press conference titled "No Flint Resident Left Behind," with life-saving information for withholding of SNAP benefits for all the residents in Flint. And I was scrolling that day and I said, all Flint residents, no Flint residents left behind unless you're deaf, because there was no sign language interpreter there. I saw Ms. Johnson, Ms. Priestley, Ms. Mouchette sitting up there with the mayor, and nobody yet and still thought that a sign language interpreter might be needed for this life-saving information for deaf people. People want to think that closed captioning is enough, but I must let you know that closed captioning is not the same as ASL. ASL is a completely different language, and many deaf people are not well-versed in English because 85%, more than 85% of deaf children are born to hearing parents, therefore being deprived of language because parents are encouraged to assimilate deaf children instead of teaching them their natural sign language. That's called language deprivation. Please look it up. American Sign Language is the appropriate way to serve the deaf community, especially seeing how the State School for the Deaf is right here in this city, and many graduates have settled in this city over the years. It was an afterthought. Yes, you got it later. You added an interpreter on later, but that video also froze after 7 minutes, so yet and still the deaf community is without this knowledge. It is imperative that when someone calls for a press conference, they call for the sign language interpreter. They know how to do it. They prove that they did because they've gotten a sign language interpreter after the fact. But if you can call up everybody and say, let's meet up, you can call up the agency and say, let's have a sign language interpreter for this life-saving information for all residents of Flint, Michigan. Very disappointed. I've been coming out here for the past 2-3 months as faithfully as I can, to get out here to advocate for my people, and it, ironically, is falling on deaf ears. It's unfortunate, but I want you to know that it's very important that you get an on-site, live interpreter so that information isn't missed out on, because the afterwork, the afterthought that you thought you did to fix it, that didn't work either. So please, while you stand up there next to the mayor with this life-saving information, and he might have forgot, remind him, because I come up here for a reason. Thank you.
The next speaker is Diane Thornton.
Diane Thornton, 4th Ward. I am a member of the Color of Law Coalition, which is a group that is formed to help with the needs of the community. So right now our mission is to put together these book bags. Some of you, Tanya mentioned last week, they have for the homeless and the drug addictions. We are out passing them. The women that are involved in this group, collectively on our own, have put together nearly 50 backpacks that consist of hats, gloves, blankets, Narcan, snacks, toothbrushes, toothpaste, all the essentials that they can carry. What we're asking for is if any of the community are willing and able to help us continue with this, because the need is great. Walk downtown any time of the day. Walk down by the river. These people are out there with no coats, no hats, no gloves, nothing. So we took it upon ourselves to gather these items together, and we are out there handing them out. So if anyone is interested, we have a Facebook page, the Color of Law Coalition. We have an Amazon wish list, so you can donate that way if you'd like to purchase them, and then they can get to us and we can get them out to the community. We also, most of the members are here at council each and every week. Tanya Jones, Taylor Sampson, myself, Deborah Clark, Miss Burns, Shantae. So if you have any donations, you could bring them in, purchase some gloves or whatever, and we will pack the bags up as many as we can get. We can't sustain, continuing on our own funds to do this. So I'm asking for the public to help because it is a great need. Also, I have some flyers that have a contact number if you have any questions, that you could reach out to us if you do purchase some items that you want to donate, that we're more than willing to come and pick them up. So there again, like I said, we are out here in the community. We have handed out probably about 20 bags up to this point. We're also wanting to expand that into going out in the community with like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and drinks and tuna fish sandwiches, or that kind of thing. These people have nothing. You walk down and they ask, do you have a dollar that I can get a sandwich, or do you have any gloves? Thank you.
The final speaker for this meeting is Tanya Jones.
Good evening. I'm Tanya Jones. I'm here advocating for my son, D. Michael Edwards. My main concern is I'm thankful that someone's listening. The color of family, okay? I really want to say thank you that, we all come together and get out here and helping. Basically, when we out here going to the areas where we're going out here where it's broken, where people don't want to go. The point is, it's not about just giving a drive for just book bag giveaway. We're going like on Franklin Street, where I done went out for my own son, down on the east side where people don't want to go. So this is not like they give free food, just come get it. We're going where I know that these people out here suffering, they need a Narcan at the last minute. So Miss Beverly Biggs is part of the group also. She forgot, she was nervous. That's her first time being up here. And I just want to say thank you guys, because obviously someone's listening. If you just take, in the Bible, just one, 2 or more come together, and, somebody's going to be, it's going to be heard. And I want to tell you guys thank you for what you're doing, and I appreciate you. So God is good, and keep the faith. And if just somebody here, we just come together, it's going to be all right. Take care.
Thank you. It's now time for council response. Council members may respond once to all public speakers, only after all public speakers have spoken. An individual council member's response shall be limited to 2 minutes. Is there anyone who wishes to?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I do want to, because we all see what's going on with the federal government and SNAP benefits, and there seems to be a game of will they, won't they, is it actually going to happen? We had an opportunity to stand with Mayor Neely at a press conference when he announced the fact that, and which was something that we actually discussed during council. So we were trying to figure out what would happen with the residents who are receiving SNAP benefits, as well as with the residents who are finding themselves on this long-term furlough from work. And so as a result of that, residents who are already receiving SNAP benefits, now, I understand there are quite a few residents who might have been waiting for a determination. Unfortunately, this is only for residents who are already receiving SNAP benefits and residents who are furloughed by the federal government. So, once again, residents who are already receiving SNAP benefits and residents who are furloughed by the federal government can come down to the help desk at Flint City Hall and sign up for vouchers to help supplement what they may be facing as a loss as a result of their SNAP benefits not being given to them in whole for the month of November. So they can come down to the help desk at Flint City Hall. Our Office of Public Health will be handling those vouchers, so they can tell you where to go from there. And then also residents who are federal employees, and this particular announcement is only for residents who are federal employees impacted by the furlough. There has been a freeze on water shutoffs for those residents only who have been impacted by the federal government's massive layoff. So again, this second announcement is only for those who are currently impacted by the federal layoff. There is a freeze on water shutoffs. You can call the water department to get more information. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Ms. Burns.
Thank you, and thank you to everyone who is here. I do want to say, if you are in assistance, because a lot of people don't know, with the SNAP benefits. Today, St. Mark gave out food, but I want to give this. On Mondays, Bethel United Methodist Church gives out food. Get in line early. It starts at 9 a.m. On Tuesday, Asbury Methodist Church on Davison Road gives out food at 10 a.m. On Thursday, the R.L. Jones Center with Greater Holy Temple Church gives out food on Dorrit Highway. And then on Saturdays, Gloria Coles, Flint Public Library, that's when they will, well, I'm not going to say Gloria Coles, right? I know the other ones are help centers because I've worked them. There was a need that was really great today. I've never seen the line at St. Mark be so long to where it stayed wrapped around the corner to King's School. I've never seen it that long, and it stayed until the food ran out. So there is a great need. Also, I want to say to the Color of Law Coalition, good job speaking. There are some wonderful ladies who have a heart to serve. Debbie, Diane, Tanya, Beverly, Shantae, and I don't think I missed, and Taylor, who we meet quite often. But these ladies have been packing those bags and even giving out sleeping bags because in identifying the homeless who sleeps with the building. So kudos to you. I love working with you ladies. You are what resilience is and making sure no resident is left behind. And I appreciate what you ladies do because, I mean, you making it happen with zero funds from anybody, but just the love of the community, and that's why I love y'all.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Thank you. First, I would like to thank all the residents and all of the speakers. Ms. Sarah, thank you for bringing forth the information that you always bring to us, and let me let you know, it is not on deaf's ear. I'm assured, you know, that you have some council members that have been looking into what can be done. I also wanted to add to Councilwoman Burns' list of food distribution. I would like to let everyone know, in addition to the list that she just gave you, I know that the St. Luke New Life Center, they have a weekly food giveaway, and it's on Fridays, every Friday, and it starts at 10, but you want to line up early. There's a food giveaway as well as a clothing distribution. And it is open, and it's, you know, it's there until the food is gone. So add that to your list of places that you can come out and get food. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead. Dr.
Thank you. So I also want to let the residents know this evening that if you would like to know about the pantry listings, I have that here. So I will have the secretary put them on the back so you can take one for yourself and for your neighbors. We want to make sure that we have the supplies on deck. In addition to, there was another thing. Oh yeah, we are looking to host a listening session next Thursday at the Mays Center. And the listening session is about a school fighting ordinance. So if you have any questions or comments, we would love to see you there. We will be there to listen because we want to make sure that we're doing our part in curbing violence in our city. And this ordinance is one step in the right direction. They did it in the city of Grand Blanc and other municipalities, so we want to make sure that we have good legislation here. And we know that with this, it'll help us do a couple of things. I'm not going to just give it all out tonight, but one of the things is raise money so we can have youth services such as anger management classes and things like that. So this will be a self-supporting ordinance. So I'm looking forward to the ordinance meeting, which will be next week, and the flyers will be on Facebook, and we'll make sure that we get some out in the community. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming out as well. Ms. Sarah Houston, I do apologize. Anything I attend, I'm going to try to make sure that the mayor knows that we need somebody who interprets sign language, so that I do apologize for. Also, street outreach also help people that is homeless as well. I can get you the number for that as well. And then on next Tuesday, Veterans Day, we are doing something at Sacred Heart where we're giving veterans something at the new center that they have at Sacred Heart on Stewart. So hopefully we'll see everybody that is a veteran next Tuesday on the 11th. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? I'm going to take just a minute and talk about the homelessness in our area. As people in the Fourth Ward know, there are many, many squatters in these abandoned homes. And today, as I was driving down Woodrow, I saw one actually start and go up in flames. It was fully engulfed before I could get the call to 911 through. And the people did get out, but what were they trying to do? Were they trying to cook? Were they trying to keep warm? It's only going to get worse. So I applaud you for doing what you're doing. And if you could get me the information, I'll put it on my Facebook page, and share your site. So, Chief Wiggins, I want you to know that we've got problems coming up on the Fourth Ward in particular. Thank you. It is now time for the consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
There's a motion on the floor by the councilwoman in the 7th Ward to approve the consent agenda, or send the consent agenda to council.
No, send it to council, thank you.
Is there support? I'll support that. Is there any separation?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
I'd like to separate Resolution 250335-T, 250366-T, 250369-T, 250370-T, and as well as add-on 1 and 2.
Is there any other separations? Are there any other, excuse me? Are there any other? Yes. Ms. Burns. Yes. Absolutely. It's already separated. Oh, I thought you did. I circled that one. Okay. All right. So what I have right now as not separated is 250365, the purchase of 4 pickup trucks from La Fontaine. Make sure I get the numbers right. 250367, the grant acceptance of light equipment, obligate grant funding towards specified equipment. Pardon? Okay, that's separated. 250368, authorization grant site preparation for the Fire and Police Training Center. And those are the only two, so we only have 2 that are a part of the consent agenda. Do you want me to repeat those numbers again? Madam Clerk or Secretary? You got them? Okay. Is the clerk there? I can't see her. Okay, this is the roll call to send the consent agenda consisting of 250367 and 250368 to council.
Mr. Alamin is not in. Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat? Yes. Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
The vote is 7 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 7 yes, 0 no. Those will be sent to council. Okay, our first separation is, get back to 250335, application and proposed budget, senior millage funding, Genesee County McKinley Center. I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
I make a motion to postpone indefinitely.
There's a motion on the floor to postpone indefinitely. Is there support? Is there support? It's been supported by the councilwoman in the 6th Ward. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Alamin is not in. The vote is 7 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 7 yes, 0 no. That has been postponed indefinitely. Our next resolution is 250365. I'll entertain a motion for that one.
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
I'd like to send 250365 to council for approval.
There's been a motion on the floor by the councilwoman in the 6th Ward to send 250365 to council. Is there support? It's been supported by the councilwoman in the 7th Ward. Is there any discussion, Ms. Burns?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead. Is Ms. Blair here? Is Blair here?
If you can have Mr. Edwards. Or
Miss-
whoever, who's from Fleet, anyone from Fleet?
Mr. Moore is over Fleet. He's the supervisor of Fleet. Yes, he is. Yep. So, from somebody from administration who can address this resolution?
No, he doesn't.
I know. and Resource Management. What is the pleasure of the body?
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
I make a motion to send this to council.
There's a motion on the floor by the Councilwoman in the 7th Ward to send to council. Is there support?
Support.
Supported by the Councilwoman in the 6th Ward. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair, not sure, oh, perfect. Mr. Dungy, really quickly, because I see that this is, once again, a resolution resolving that the Flint City Council approves the professional services agreement between the City of Flint and F&B Operations and Resource Management for backup operator in charge of support services in the amount not to exceed $296,430. I also know in our notes that also says that a laboratory technician and supervisor have been hired and are receiving assistance. Then I know in the staffing notes, it talks about they've been with us since about 2017 because Eagle suggested them. 2023, we have done another contract. So ideally, how many employees are needed to operate on our own?
So currently, they're just operating the lab. They're overseeing the operations of the lab. But they do have that in there. If we had a hiccup and we lost operators, there for a while, we were losing quite a bit of operators. So the original contract was to sustain operations if needed.
Ideally, how many employees do we need to operate on our own?
So I have 5 operations foremen, 2 operators, so 7.
So 7,
Is
and
what
we
the
wouldn't
city
have to
affords.
keep signing a contract to pay someone $296,430.
So that contract mainly is to be a backup for us in case we were to lose personnel. But the main role of that contract is to oversee the lab. We now have a fully staffed lab, but I just hired the operations supervisor. He doesn't have water experience. He has waste experience. He has lab experience. He's a certified chemist and all of that. So we are retaining F&B for one last year to train him and get him up to speed. As long as we don't lose any employees in the lab, we will be able to release
So you
F&B
answered my
a year
third
from now.
question of how much longer do you anticipate us having to contract out? And I think you might have answered the second of what is keeping us from hiring the necessary personnel so that we do not have to contract out?
So we are now fully staffed. But the supervisor doesn't quite, have all the skills experience. So we're having F&B for this last year, this last contract to train him for 1 year.
All right, and so what happens if in the year, the person that we have right now that's not quite ready for that responsibility, what happens if they leave?
He will be ready. We're going to see to it that he is ready.
No.
Well,
What
first of
happens-
all, we have a 6-month probation, and he's only been here 1 month, roughly. So we're going to keep a tight rein on him for the first 6 months. If he doesn't make it within 6 months, we're going to release him and find somebody that can fit that role. But our intentions is to get him up to speed within this year and be able to release F&B.
What happens if in that year he leaves? Not if y'all don't keep him, if he decides to leave.
Well, I can't do nothing about that. I'm doing the best I can to retain people, but.
So then we'll be back here with another $296,430 ask in a year for
we
someone
can't
else
retain
to
employees.
help us operate our facilities.
If we can't retain employees long enough to sustain the water lab, then yes, we would have to continue that contract until we can manage the staff.
So
And keep
again,
it fully staffed.
ideally, so let's go back to our first question. Ideally, how many employees are needed for us to operate on our own?
Well, we have that currently. We have, like I said, 7 in operations and 3 in the lab.
So technically, we don't have that currently, because you just told me if one person leaves, then we're still with them. So ideally, how many people do we need to operate on our own?
What we have now, 3 people in the lab and 7
And what you
operational
just
staff.
told me-
We have that totally filled.
Right, but if one person leaves,
What?
we're back here with this contract. So is it that we need 2 of everyone, or I'm just trying to understand what we need to ensure that we can operate on our own and we don't have to keep contracting out? So is 2 of everyone, is that ideal?
Sure. If the budget can allow that, I'd love to, 2 lab supervisors. So
Okay.
that way you're always covered, but it's kind of hard. We barely can afford to pay 1. You know what I mean?
No,
I
point
would love the
completely
redundancy.
understood.
Yes, I would love the redundancy. Now, I will admit, one of our lab techs She has an associate's degree in chemistry. She does, the gentleman that we hired is up there in age, so he's told us, well, we can give you 5 to 7 years. So Abigail has promised that she likes it at the City of Flint. She went back to school. She's hoping within 2 years to have her bachelor's and master's in chemistry. So at that point in time, she would meet the minimum requirements for that lab supervisor job.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Hey, Ms. Nucci, how are you?
Good. Yourself?
I'm tired. It's been a rough day. Quick question. How long has police, because I know we need them for our capacity build or for their talent. How long have they been here?
Since 2017?
That's what I thought, because they were here, I think,
Yes.
with Rob Benzick, too.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And so I get what Councilwoman Mushat was stating, that, and maybe I'm like, do we need like some extra people? So we're not just at the, if one person quit threshold.
Right.
You know, like, we need a spare.
The lab supervisor is the most important position for that, you know, because they have to have that knowledge and ability to meet compliance. So we can lose a lab tech and we can make...
She's getting ready to give you a lifeline.
We can lose a lab tech and still be able to manage, because my operators are trained to do the basic lab duties. So until we could get another one hired, we would have no problem. But the lab supervisor is a very important position.
I'm not giving you the lifeline. What I'm going to let you know is that contract agreement can change for services. If we lose a lab supervisor and we still have 2 lab techs there, then all we need to do is contract for a lab supervisor, vice versa. We don't hire the lab just to cover all 3 people. We have the lab services because we have a new lab supervisor. Then there also actually is a new lab tech that moved over from being an actual operations, senior operations maintainer, but he's in the lab. He also needs to be trained. It was a lateral move, so the lab tech and the lab supervisor is being trained while we already have had a lab, one of the lab techs has been there for a couple years. So that contract can be changed for whatever services we need. We don't hire it for the entire lab, it's for whatever service we need. So you're saying you're
staffed properly then?
We're staffed properly, but they're not fully certified, and until F&V
How long does it
assures
take
us.
for the certification?
I don't know if it's 6 months.
6 months to a year.
6 months to a year?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I know we need them.
Yes, we need them because if, as we, again, we say they will always be standby. Even if we have fully staffed, someone leaves, then we'll have to have F&V make sure whoever leaves is in compliance.
Right. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any other discussion in the first round?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
just so that I'm not really clear, does this contract provide a certain number of FTE that are available to us at a given time, or a certain number of bodies, or what?
Yes, it'll supply us up to 4 people.
Up to 4 people?
Yes.
So are they, so someone daily reports to wherever the facility,
Yes.
whichever.
Yes.
How many persons report daily currently?
So currently, 1 person reports daily. If they have to rotate weekends, they have another operator that will rotate with them. And then we have the lab supervisor from F&V that comes twice a week to oversee.
So on, if you were to look at the last 3 months, has it still been just 1 person, or has there been extended periods where you've needed more than 1 FTE at a time?
Oh, yes, there's been times that there's been more than 1.
In the last 6 months?
Yes.
And is that due to our own staff shortage?
No, due to compliance things. There's certain things that the lab supervisor reports that they have to submit. The lab techs can't submit them. So F&V will come in once a week to submit them reports, go through all their numbers, make sure everything's being done correctly, and then they submit a report.
So the level of expertise or title, I'll say, that comes in daily now is tech
Yes, correct.
Okay.
He's a
and
lab
then
tech.
from time to time, you might need supervisor to do reporting because we didn't have a supervisor at a time. Is
Correct.
that- Okay. And I think I was following the councilwoman in the 7th Ward as well with what if we're expending almost $300,000 a year. If we were to increase FTE or a budget line item by $120,000, would that maybe allow us to not have to spend the 300? Would that maybe save us 180?
So you're talking like possibly support another staff member?
Support another
Oh, in the
staff-
long run, yes, that would help. Currently, I mean, even if we added that, we'd still have to get another person on board and trained. It took us a little while to get this last lab supervisor. So I think more than likely, we're going to keep this company for a year regardless of
Yeah.
that. But that, long-term, that would be the best way to go, because that way you can, you know,
So-
redundancy as far as if you lose somebody at that top level, you have a replacement, so.
So, again,
In-house.
will you help me understand the different levels at which we have in the group? I heard 3 lab, are those lab techs?
So you have 2 lab techs that rotate, they have to work 7 days a week.
2 lab techs, okay.
And then you have a lab supervisor that oversees them.
Okay, but now, how do I thought you said there were 7 persons in the department.
So she had mentioned operations. So they also cover operations of the water plant itself. So there for a while, when they were hired in 2017, we lost all of our operators, but 1 or 2 guys. So we had to
There are 4
restaff.
operators?
Yes. So they put it, so the original contract was to help support operations and the operator in charge. After a couple years, I got the operator in charge, so we relinquished him of that, but I still had to support the lab staff.
Okay, if we were to increase 1 FTE, which one of these 3 levels would it be?
The lab supervisor.
Lab, so you would have 2 lab supervisors?
Yes.
Okay. Now, can that be done, you think, at $120,000 a year with fringes, or?
I'd have to look at their pay rate. I'm not sure exactly what it's at, what level it is, but I want to say it's probably in the $70,000 range.
So that might
for a
get
lab
us close.
supervisor. So if you double that, you know, it's usually about double for all the benefits, so 140.
So it might get us close.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, I yield.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
How you doing, Mr. Dungy?
Great.
Question, I'm just sitting here thinking, what is the qualifications for a lab supervisor?
So a lab supervisor has to have a bachelor's degree in chemistry. We had on the job spec 3 to 5 years experience in a water quality lab, but we were unable to find anybody with that. So this gentleman had years and years experience in a wastewater lab and labs for like GM and Ford. They also monitor all of their water and waste and treat it and stuff of that nature. So he had a ton of experience, but none in a specific water.
Oh,
so
okay.
that's why we tried to find somebody with water credentials, because all eyes are on us. They're watching us. They don't want us to hire somebody that's not in the water industry. So, but we had no choice.
It's kind of hard getting
Yes.
experience too in the water industry.
Yes.
What is the pay for the supervisor?
Like I said, I think it's around the 70,000. I'd have to look.
Okay. And what about the lab techs? What is the qualification for a lab tech?
So they would like them to have an associate's degree, or there's a bunch of experience that can go with it. Now we did hire. I'm not sure if Dave had an associate's. Dave was an operator, and he was able to transfer and test out for that lab position.
Oh, okay.
But he has 2 years experience as an operator now. So, and he has a state license. That's one of the things that they require to as a lab.
Oh, okay.
So that probably helped him qualify.
And so we had such a hard time finding someone. I'm just wondering, do we have a relationship with any of the colleges, U of M? I think they have a major in chemistry.
I don't know.
And we should always keep that relationship going so that we can get students who graduate with degrees in chemistry, you know,
Yes.
get them ready
Mhm.
to go into water
Yeah.
chemistry. Okay, just wanted to ask. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Go ahead, Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
So are we training these people that you guys are getting in and they're leaving?
Yes, yes.
Okay, do we have a stipulation in the contract if we train them and they leave within a certain amount of time that they have to reimburse us for the money?
No.
Okay, so that's something that you probably should look at.
Okay.
Because if we're training people, there is always, if I train someone, there is always a stipulation in my contract of we training you, that you have to stay here a certain amount of years. Other than that, then you have to pay us back
Okay.
what you're receiving or our
Right.
training that we're putting upon you. So I think you guys need to put some stipulations in your contract.
Like, once you get fully trained, at least 2 years,
Right.
you know,
Yep,
of
other than
service
that,
after that.
yep, then you, if they leave before then, if they leave before they give us the service that we need, once we train, they have to pay us the money back.
Okay.
So there should be some stipulation
Yeah,
in your
we-
contract, instead of you keep coming to us for $296,000 and some dollars, right?
Yes.
So there should be some stipulation, because that's a lot of money to be wasting
Right.
on one person, and then we don't get to be able to, them to be effective.
Right.
All right, thank you,
Okay.
sir.
Any other discussion in the first round? I'm going to take my time, seeing how there isn't anyone else. How long has it taken us to be fully staffed?
Since 2016, 2017?
So it's not as easy as people
No.
think to hire somebody and bring
No.
it in. I'd love to be able to be fully staffed and have enough adequate staff that we don't have to hire a consultant to come
Yes.
in. But this is the organization that has been supervising our water treatment plant anyways, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Is there any discussion in the second round? Go ahead.
Mr. Duncan, how much does the lab tech make? Because I remember that wage was low.
Oh, I'd have to look at that. I want to say, like, you know, I don't know. I'd have to look it up. I can send that to you tomorrow.
Could you please?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'll send you both them job specs, of lab supervisor and lab tech. Yeah.
Is,
I'll get it to Mr. Edwards, and get it to Davina, and then they get it to you.
I know
is
that's
there
a
any
big
other
part.
discussion? Are you done?
I am done. Well, hold on. I do know that that's a big part, was the pay, with maintaining and keeping people in that position. And I know that Flint's pay is not competitive in a whole lot of departments, including our police, at all. So, thank you. I'm done. I yield the floor.
Is there any other discussion in the second round? Any other discussion in the second round? Last chance. Hearing none, this is the vote to send 250366 to council.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer is absent. Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Alamin is absent. Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
The vote is 7 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 7 yes, 0 no. That will be sent to council. The next separated resolution is 250369. Budget amendment, appropriate additional funding for the Blight Department fiscal year 26. I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I would like to send 250369 to council. To council.
Okay, is there support?
Support.
It's been supported by the councilwoman in the 7th ward. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
is Mr. Brown here?
Yep, here he comes. Come on up, please, Mr. Brown.
So, Mr. Brown, as you are on your way, and Mr. That's going to get confusing now, Mr. Moore comes. So, can you tell me, what can you tell us about this $1 million? I know there's a lot to do in the city, as people like to just dump. I've never seen so much just dumping in my life. So what are we gonna do with this?
Well, we're gonna, I have a whole lot of equipment earmarked.
You gotta talk closer,
Oh, I'm
please.
sorry. A whole lot of equipment earmarked where it's been on hold for me like 6 months through my relationships
Oh,
with some
wow.
of the people. And this grant, we wanted to bring it to you with everything else that's coming to you today. So we got demo equipment that we're gonna have. We got the forestry equipment that we're gonna have. It's all in the whole scheme of plan from when we had our budget hearing as far as us expanding into our demo program and everything, so.
So this is for the demolition of, demolishing
Homes.
structures.
Yes.
And so who's gonna run that equipment?
We have.
Do we have people who can run it?
Yes, we do.
Oh,
And I'm trying to, the reason why we're bringing the, you guys may not remember, last year I was under a $1 million labor grant from the state. And I had a whole lot of money then. I don't have that money now. So we're expanding and we're trying to get that second part of our budget adjustment or budget, what you call it? The budget.
so here's a question.
The budget
If we're
amendment.
getting demo dollars, demolition equipment, and maybe, Mr. Ward, you can help me with this. And it's in the city, and y'all know I'm gonna go to land banks, some of their properties.
Yes.
Can we bid on those, or do we know, is that, because one of their things, they don't have time, or, getting those structures down take a long time, and that list is full. And since when we gave our ARPA, we got more.
It does, and the thing about it is we've had a communication or a conversation with the land bank, and if they've made it through standard motion, they're allowing us to go ahead and demolish them. The only thing about it is if we can get everything that we need to have going forward. I'm so far behind right now as far as training, because I was supposed to have my people already in here so they can be trained. We could be demoing houses right now.
So, and you've probably seen this house before, Corona Road is 2325. The house is on the house next door.
Yes.
The four walls have literally collapsed, like someone took a pin out of all of them. So are these the type of structures that the city, because it's dangerous.
Yes.
It's falling on the cars next door, and it's other homes that just are in structure, terrible condition, on the corner of Berkeley and Ballinger.
Yes. Yes.
They put an it's complete, and it's dangerous.
Yes.
And so are these structures, it used to be a medical, and inside that used to be a pool for therapy. And that back wall is buckling out to where there's a house next door. The bricks have already started falling on the resident that lives in that house. So these type of properties that we would go after that pose a hazard, like Corona Road, because there's no
Yes.
money, they say, to do Corona Road.
Yes, there are. I ride these streets. I'm in these streets every day.
I know you are.
That one that's on Berkeley and Ballinger Highway is one of the ones that are on my list. We got environmental people that are going to come out and make an assessment of it, and then from that standpoint, we'll start knocking them down.
Yeah, I see Chief Wiggins, he's gone. I know when they set that on fire, it was about 2:30 in the morning, and Chief Wiggins came out, and it was 3 doors from the house they say I don't live at, but they woke everybody up. And literally, when I looked out the window, my neighbor was blowing his horn, and the fire was it rolled, and 5 doors down on each side. And the police knocked on the door too and evacuated everyone. So I think that having that, because some of these structures like those, once they're burnt out like that and just the chimney is standing,
Yes.
we need to get them down as quick as possible. So I am supporting this. Mr. Moore, you didn't have to say anything. I know you're happy. for the first round, but I might get you on the second round. I give the floor.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I know that this is kind of a companion piece, if you will, to 250367-T, which we just went ahead and it went with the consent agenda, but this is an amendment that is being asked for based off the grant acceptance for the blight equipment
RL.
and the obligated grant funding towards special equipment. So I just wanted to take the floor to point out the fact that this budget amendment was being asked for because of the resolution that already passed with a consent agenda, and that's 250367. And they also list out the equipment that we will be purchasing. So this is additional equipment. I mean, it's new equipment. It's not like getting a second piece of equipment that we already have, or?
No, to be quite honest, one of the pieces of equipment, we have a log loader, it's a grapple truck, and I want to get another one, because that's probably the best piece of equipment that we purchased since I've been here. I mean, all the time I've been here. So we wanted to get another one so I could start another crew, because that can be utilized on our abatement processes as well. That's the only piece of equipment that's going to be duplicated.
Okay. And then also, you said you needed this for demo work, and I'm guessing that you all will be the ones doing the demo on the other thing that passed with the consent agenda, which was 250368-T, which was the authorization of the grant site preparation, demolition, and remediation for properties and land located around Fire Station Number 4, the Police Training Center.
Yes.
So you all will be doing that demo with some of the equipment that will be purchased with this grant money?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I yield.
Any other discussion in the first round? Any other discussion in the
Madam
first
Chair.
round? Go ahead.
If I can just get, or a little bit of understanding around this, $525,988.96 for professional services. What does that entail? Or who are we contracting?
RL? RL. Don't make me give you a warning.
Mr. Jared, what number is that you're reading off? What number is that?
Am I looking at this right?
Oh, the 500, the 535?
Yeah. The professional service 500.
Okay. That's 321.
Yep. Pause this time, please.
The 500.
I can answer.
29,000, half a million.
The professional services piece on this, we were talking about the,
Go ahead and start.
the amount of money that we're gonna utilize to, have you been out on the site down there on, the fire station?
So.
Have you seen it?
So we're gonna contract someone for that, or?
Well, it's gonna be for disposal services. We're gonna have a whole lot of disposal services. there.
Okay, so we'll tear it down, but somebody else will haul it out.
No, we're gonna haul it, but the landfill costs are extremely high.
Okay, so this is for landfill?
Yes, landfill and tree work and all that.
Okay. That adds some clarity, because I know we were saying that there's equipment that's gonna be purchased.
Yeah, all the equipment is gonna be, we'll have the equipment and we'll have people to utilize those pieces of equipment, but that dang on landfill stuff is ridiculous.
So where is the equipment? What I'm looking at here is a grand total of 1 million.
That was in the previous, it's one of the items that was on the consent agenda for the grant.
And I thought I was following what the councilwoman in the 7th Ward said, where basically these be companion pieces, and I thought that was funding this. That $1 million was funding this $1 million.
The $1 million is just for equipment purposes only.
Okay, so
request for
this is a
information.
whole different $1 million.
Oh,
Yes.
there you go. He got it.
Okay, so
Yeah.
this is a whole different $1 million.
For your, they had asked for an additional million in their budget during budget hearings. And because we adopted the fiscal year '25 budget, they lost that million, and they're asking for it to go back to fund demolition and tree cutting services.
That's correct. We talked about this during the budget session in June, that we'd be back because the council had indicated that blight was their #1 priority.
Okay, so where are we taking this $1 million from? How are we funding it?
This was going to be part of the general fund. It's something that we had budgeted for in the general fund, but because we adopted the 2025 budget, this budget got cut, and if we want to work on the blight the way we had talked about, this is essential to have it pass.
Okay, so is this $1 million part of the add-on resolution where? I'm just trying to track in my mind where this $1 million is coming from.
This is coming from the general fund.
Okay, so when I look at the add-on resolution that was added today, there is,
The add-on resolution, there are two resolutions. The first resolution that was included in the packet was a early draft that we had.
no, we got a add-on to replace what was in the
That's right.
packet.
And if you look at that one, there is no blight in that one.
So again, I'm asking, because I'm trying to be clear with my understanding, where is this, the $1 million that is part of the resolution we're talking about, this $1,008,000?
It'll be part of the general fund. The general fund revenues, taxes, income taxes, state shared revenue, all that is going to finance this.
There is no additional revenue coming for these.
Right.
This is coming all from the general funds being. There's. Oh. Because one's just for blight and one's for the remainder of the.
Right, and the concern from staff was that this resolution is essential to have because it is a priority that the council talked about during the budget process. We didn't want to get held
I'm not
up.
questioning if it's, I would
Thank you.
acknowledge it's important. I'm just trying to understand where it's coming from.
Yeah, it's just part of the general fund.
Thank you. Any other discussion in the first round? Any other discussion in the first round? So I'll take some time, and this is something that is desperately needed for demolitions, especially in areas where the land bank is not tearing down houses. For example, this house that burned today on Woodrow, I was driving by to check on the address of the house next to it because the sides are falling off, and I was hoping to get a permission to get that one torn down. And I think I've talked to you about that house before, Arnold. And now, instead of just having the one house that needs to be torn down, now we have two. And the land bank isn't going to take them down, not for a while. And there's other houses, I mean, although it looks better in the fourth ward, there's still a long way to go. And I want all this money in my own ward. I don't care if it goes in the rest of the, no, I'm kidding. It needs to be split around, but the fourth ward in particular needs attention.
Yes.
I went around when we were discussing the land bank demolitions. We all had an opportunity to go around our wards looking for houses to tear down. And I compared my list with the land banks, and I had over 200 additional houses. They only added 100 to the list. So at that time, I still had 100 basements on the corner of Woodrow and Burns. The land bank took out 2 basements, left a third. And across the street, another basement was left. And then this house down the street from that, a house on Kentucky, which is going to come down with using my ward priorities.
It has trees growing in it. And it wasn't funded, but they tore down a bunch of other houses and they skipped that one. In the middle of all these other houses being torn down, they skipped that one, and that one's been sticking in my craw for a long, long time. So I am totally 100 in favor of this. I'm glad that we are doing some in-house demolitions, and I'm glad that we had the fund balance in order to do it, especially that fund balance is going to grow as we are careful with our money, as the state is collecting our income taxes. And we expect an additional, what, $2 million in revenue?
Yes.
So I'm in favor of that. Do you have anything else to add?
Let's get it.
Okay. Is there any discussion in the second round?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Mr. Moore, and I know this was before my time on council, but I know we approved money, ARPA dollars, to Land Bank for demolition.
Yes.
And I want to say if it was like 16 million or so.
That's the right ballpark.
Okay.
I'm not sure the exact number, but close.
So, and if I also understand, the ARPA funds, there was some type of reimbursement process. You didn't just get the money up front. You got reimbursed or invoiced. They would invoice us?
They would invoice us.
Do you know, and I'm not saying to the dollar, but within $1 million, how much have they invoiced us on that 16
It's
million?
been a long time since I looked. I'll send that to you. I'll send it to Davina.
Do you think they've invoiced us 5 million?
I think so, but I'd have to double check. I think they have. When they started out fairly slow, but now the process has picked up a lot of speed, so it's going a lot faster.
So they have picked up.
Yes, they have.
Are they picking up and getting close to the number of homes that they stated they would be able to demolish for that 16 million, or they're picking up, but they're picking up relative to what they were doing? They're doing more than they were, but not as much as they said they would.
From what I see, they've taken on a lot of homes.
They're taking down a lot of homes.
A lot of them.
Okay. And backfilling and all that should be done?
They seed and straw and everything. It's
Seed
so many
and straw,
vacant
okay.
lots. So many vacant lots around here, it's crazy.
And the property is maintained in their ownership?
Yes.
And from here, they are also to maintenance those lots in accordance to expectation for good citizenship?
Yes.
Okay.
I was just told that there's approximately $2 million left in that.
$2 million?
Right. So they've spent the rest of it.
Okay. So 2 million out of 16, that's a little bit more than 14% or so. So have we received approximately 80% of the home demolitions that were promised?
I'm not the one to ask that question.
It's kind of close.
I can't say if it's 80%, but I do have it downstairs because I have a bi-weekly land bank meeting every week, and we talk about this.
Good.
So we do have another meeting on Friday. The last that I looked, if I'm not mistaken, the city of Flint had somewhere between 1,250 to 1,400 houses that they have demolished.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion in the second round?
But I got an exact
Mr.
list.
Taylor, go ahead on my time.
But I will have the exact number. I can go downstairs and get it right now for 2 weeks ago. I know a couple more bids went out for some more houses, and everything now that's being torn down and that has been being torn down for the last 6 to 8 months has been in the city of Flint. All of the out-county houses, those been torn down a long time ago. So everything right now is in the city of Flint. And they're out there still fundraising more dollars. The land bank is to continue to demolish homes in the city of Flint.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Brown, this question is for Mr. Brown. As far as the funding for the demolition, are we looking at structures that are privately owned? And I'm
Yes.
thinking about 1019 ML King. You know that house right
Yes,
there?
Yes, yes.
That needs to come down.
Yes, ma'am. We're looking at everything because we're using like going to be using like CDBG funding, and we got, and, you know, it's a different criteria for all that. So we'll be having those environmentally assessed, and then we'll start knocking those out. We're going after everything as long as we get the okay from building and safety that they've done everything that they had to do, get a standard motion, and they've notified the property owners and everything. We're going at them.
Of course, that store right there on the corner of ML King and Hamilton,
Yes.
and the funeral home, those structures need to come down, particularly that store.
Yes.
That's dangerous.
Not safe. Yeah.
It's unsafe. Okay, I just wanted to ask, are we looking at privately owned
Yes, ma'am.
structures? Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
I do have a question. You know, I'm always in support because you do a wonderful job, the Black team in the city of Flint. Y'all do a wonderful job in the city of Flint.
Thank you.
But the question that I have is, are we tearing down, our land bank going to be responsible for their properties? How are we going to decide between which properties are going to be told that the city tears down or land bank tears down? Because we do know that land bank, you know, once houses are, they don't pay taxes, they go into the foreclosure, and then they become properties of land bank. So how are we gonna decide what the city is gonna tear down and what land bank is gonna tear down?
Well, the land bank is already through the money that they were talking about as far as the money we get, the 16 million we gave them. They're still working on that. All the other stuff, I don't care where it's, who has it. I just want to see it gone.
All right.
It doesn't matter, you know, as long as it's went through the process and we get the okay to tear it down, I don't care, we'll tear it down.
So y'all just basically gonna be on
Yes.
one team?
Yes.
All right, that's great. Thank you so much.
Okay. Any others? Seeing how I jumped the gun and stuck myself in before the end. Any other discussion in the second round? Any other discussion in the second round? Seeing none, this is the vote to send 250369 to council.
Is that your pen?
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat? Yes. Mr. Pfeiffer is absent. Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Alamin is absent. Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Vote is 7 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 7 yes, 0 no. That will be sent to council. The next resolution is 250370, first quarter fiscal year 26 budget amendment. What is the pleasure of the body? Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to postpone indefinitely.
There's a motion on the floor by the councilwoman in the 7th ward to postpone indefinitely. Is there support?
Support.
Supported by the councilwoman in the 6th ward. Roll call, please.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat? Yes. Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Alamin is absent. Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
The vote is 7 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 7 yes, 0 no. That is postponed indefinitely. The next resolution is 250371, reallocation of funds, ARPA category, City Council Ward priorities. What is the pleasure of the body?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I would like to send that to council.
There's a motion on the floor by the councilwoman in the 2nd ward to send it to council. Is there support? Is there support? Is there support? Seeing none, that motion dies for lack of a second. I'll entertain another motion.
Madam Chair,
ahead.
I would like to, since that didn't get supported, the $30,000. I would like to send it to Special Affairs.
Okay, there's motion on the floor by the Councilwoman in the Second Ward to send to Special Affairs. Is there support? Is there support? Is there support? Hearing none, that motion
Support.
fails. That's, Madam Clerk, was that too late?
I don't think you had stated it. I don't think so. So,
All right, it was too late because I was announcing that that it had already failed. Is there I'll entertain another motion?
Madam Chair, I will
ahead.
vote to leave this right here in the Finance Committee.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor to leave 250371 in finance. Is there support? Support. It's been supported by the Councilwoman in the Third Ward. This is the vote to leave 250371 in finance.
Ms. Mashat,
No.
Mr. Jarrett,
No.
Dr. Lewis,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson? Yes. Ms. Priestley?
No.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
No.
Ms. Burns?
No.
The vote is 2 yes, 5 no.
The vote is 2 yes, 5 no. That motion failed. Going on to our special orders and add-on number 1. I can't remember which one. I think add-on 1 was the budget.
Yep.
Okay. I just wrote add-on 1. Okay, this is add-on number 1. I'll entertain a motion for that.
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion that we send add-on number 1 to council.
There's a motion on the floor to send add-on number 1 to council. Is there support?
Support.
It's been moved and properly seconded, but moved by the Councilwoman in the 7th Ward, supported by the Councilwoman in the 6th Ward to send it to council. Is there any discussion? Madam Chair. Go ahead.
This is, and I know this was the one that our colleague in the 9th Ward also had questions about. If Mr. Moore could please join us at the lectern. Hello. So just kind of going through a couple of these things really quickly. Oh, that's right. This is the second one that we have tonight because the one that we originally had in our packet, it did have blight on there. So I think that was also part of the confusion for our colleague in the 9th Ward because the one we originally had did include blight. But I do see now that this one no longer includes blight. Right. Can you just tell us some of the key differences here?
The blight has been removed, and the amendment requested for the from the sewer fund for the Water Service Center has decreased a little bit, but for the most part, it's the same. We've also added a number of more information for the council in the packet. It's quite a bit thicker than the other one that you had.
What was the last part? I'm sorry.
Oh, we added more backup material for the city council so that if they had questions about what was happening, you'd have more support information about that in your packet.
Okay, so I'm gonna need a second to read this through. I know that I'm probably gonna come back and just ask for another 5-minute round, but I'm gonna yield for now. Thank you.
Is there any other discussion? Any other discussion in the first round? Any other discussion in the first round? So I'm going to take my time. Is the change from the local street fund to the major street fund because of the budget that the state passed?
No, it's something that the department had actually wanted to do shortly after the budget was presented. And they would rather take care of some of the major streets rather than the local streets. It's the same amount of money being spent for the same type of service. It's just the location of where they're going to do it. They prefer to spend it on the big streets.
Okay, because I know that there is some changing in the funding model for street funding
Yeah.
based on the state budget. Okay, that was my question. Any discussion in the second round? Let's take a 5-minute break so that people can review this. And I'll order that without objection. So we're going to take a 5-minute to review it. Vaguely, yeah. The second add-on? The first add, this one? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was just, but if you, well, because I'm on the finance committee, right, so I know what's going on, and they're doing some changing around with some of the formulas, and then in 1 year, they're actually transferring money from the locals to the majors. Yeah, you would have. But then they also had it in Live with the League, they discussed it too.
The church got them, and they got who got the land back, got this or what? The church people got it, because they have to pay no taxes. And that's why the land banks can't say a word, so they're gonna get dealt with by Mr.
We're just, yeah. Yeah, it's just between the funds, because you can't spend the local with the majors.
The active guy can come again and keep on pushing Mr. Brown around.
What?
They say, get back around,
Yeah.
around, where you can get on down to take it to the bridge. I want you reporting. Somebody call my name. All this bumping
They're starting that in April. This, I believe, yeah. I think, Phil, they start collecting taxes this year or next year? In April 2026 for 2025? Or is it going to be for 20?
No, the collection 2026 started
Next year, the following year. Okay.
There we go. I'll just cheat like that. All right, there we go. Okay, wait. You want to cheat? Man, when you ain't, man, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, we have a company collecting income tax.
That's all you. Man, you act like you don't take you want to do one thing. The man telling you to do this. Come on. Oh, what? Man, what the? All right, man, something going on, man. I want to come on out of the chair, come talking that junk, man. You ain't with me. You on a poor boy. Fucking janky woman, something in it. Some more over there, talking that unknown language. Now we should be good here. You better pull your watch out of my battery now. What's up, T? How you doing?
Okay. Madam Clerk, I'm going to call this meeting back to order at 6:39.
Okay. Mr. Alamin is absent. Dr. Lewis?
Present?
Ms. Johnson? Is not in. Ms. Priestley?
Present.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Present.
Ms. Burns?
Present.
Ms. Mashat? Present. Mr. Pfeiffer is absent. Mr. Jarrett?
Present.
You have 6 members present?
We have 6 members present. We are now on our second round of discussion. Is there anyone who'd like to speak in the second round? Go ahead.
Thank you. So just as a point of clarification, because I am going to support this, but I do understand why we have a different resolution. I do understand why blight was removed, because they had a bit more of a pressing thing just to make sure that their part of the budget was handled. I do see that the sewer fund is indeed less. I see that the 30,000 is for to ensure that the company that is currently capturing our income tax returns, that they can still be processed and refunds issued in a timely manner until the state takes over that in April, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. All righty. Thank you very much. I yield.
Any other discussion in the second round? Any other discussion in the second round? Any other discussion in the second round? Seeing none, this is the vote to send add-on number 1 to council.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
The vote is 7 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 7 yes, 0 no. The next one is add-on number 2, which is to test the air quality for mold and other hazards within the Flint City Police Department building. I'll entertain a motion for that.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
I would like to send add-on number 2
to council.
There's a motion on the floor to send add-on number 2 to council. Is there support? Support. It's been moved and properly seconded by Councilwoman in the 6th Ward and seconded by the Councilwoman in the 7th Ward. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
This resolution is because I want, the police department has had a lot of our buildings, and I think even in the counseling office, we had mold at one time. I know we'd had molds in other parts of the building. And we have had a lot of people who have, when they retired, have stated that the air quality had been bad. Nothing has been done for it in the city police department. And they have also, some with being in those conditions, they have been diagnosed with cancer and other breathing issues. And so this is a concern with people who have contacted police, well, I'm going to say staff, police and staff, who have worked there, who have stated the quality of air needs to be tested and to see where it's at. One thing we want to make sure is that if we have our officers, we expect them to give up their life, you know, each day that they come in, and one of the mere basic things we can do is to make sure is that while they're in the police department building, is that their air quality is safe to breathe. I know they have pipes that had burst, and the building has got a lot of issues, that is for sure over there. Paint chipping, the elevator, I don't know if they got the elevator fixed because it would go off or have problems. The alarm would go off. So there are issues, but the biggest concern is there are employees who have stated that the air quality is bad in that building, and it's causing health hazards. You know, they want to come here, they do their jobs, not to mention they did stay, you know, they even stay because even though that they're underpaid than most other municipalities, but asking at the very least if we can make sure that their environment that they're working in is safe so that they can breathe. So that is the purpose, is to make sure that our women and men who work for us, that at least we can do is make sure that their working environment is healthy and safe. I yield the floor.
Thank you. Any other discussion in the first round?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
I am going to support this because I am in agreement with the fact that, we know, this is an older building, much older building, and for all of the reasons that Councilwoman Burns has already stated, I think that the very least we can do is know the quality of the air, know what they're breathing in, and know if there is a concern that we need to take care of, and move forward with addressing how we take care of that concern.
Thank you. Any other discussion in the first round? Any other discussion in the first round? I'm going to take my time. I'm going to support this as well because it's important that our employees have a healthy environment in which to work. We don't want them breathing in dust and mold. So I'm going to support that. And now is there any discussion in second? Any discussion in the second round? Hearing none, this is the vote to send resolution add-on 2 to council. As soon as our clerk gets back.
Dr. Lewis.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson is not in. Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
The vote is 6 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 6 yes, 0 no. That will be sent to council. That concludes our resolutions. Our first discussion
Madam Chair,
item.
motion to adjourn.
There's a motion on the floor to adjourn. Is there support?
Madam Chair, I'll support
we
that
got the
motion.
Cannabis update. Yeah, I did. So I rescind that.
You have to take back your second.
I take.
Okay. So our first item of discussion is 250372, a discussion item as requested by Council President Lewis in order to receive an update from the administration regarding the city's cannabis marijuana taxing revenues.
I see you.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Chair, to Mr. Moore. Mr. Moore, before you leave,
And Madam Chair,
Yes.
well, Mr. Moore, I do apologize. I did not clarify a time on either one of these discussions, so there is no time set for that. I just want to point that out.
Yes, I caught that after agenda changes. Go ahead.
So, Mr. Moore, question for you. So, how much money has the city received from marijuana?
Since we started receiving the money, we received a little bit more than $1.9 million. That, we first received it in 2021.
2021? Okay, so what about this year?
This year, we haven't received this year's allocation. That normally arrives in February.
So, hold on, so you said you haven't received this year's?
We haven't received anything this year. That will show up in February 2026.
Okay, so nothing this year?
Mr.
No,
Moore, I think that it's confusion. She's talking about 2025 versus fiscal year 26.
Okay,
And you're thinking fiscal year.
If you're talking about 2025, in February 2025, we received $640,515.
Okay. Okay, 640,000. All right. And so what have we spent this revenue on? Well, what have,
Most of it is going to support the cannabis office.
the what?
The cannabis enforcement office. We spend approximately $570,000 a year for the cannabis office.
Okay.
There's also some other monies that's spent in the planning and enforcement. They have to inspect the operations every year. We don't track that separately, but we're assuming that's part of, there's a cost involved for that. We just don't have the exact dollar amount for that part of it.
Okay, so you say it takes $570,000 to run the office, and we received 640. So it looks like there is, I guess, an additional just 70K. So have that 70K been allocated?
It's part of the general fund. The state of Michigan doesn't restrict the marijuana funds. So the instruction we get from the Department of Treasury, that goes into our general fund as unrestricted.
Okay, say that one more time. You said the state of Michigan restricts it?
Money goes into the general fund unrestricted.
Mm-hmm.
So we can spend that however the city wants. Right now, it's just part of the general fund. However we want to spend the general fund dollars, that's how we spend that, those funds.
Okay, so is that the discretion of the mayor?
Right.
Okay, thank you for that. All right, and I believe I'll go ahead and yield the floor.
Okay.
Is there any other discussion?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Mr. Moore, can you help me understand, when you say $570,000 to run the office, what all is under the umbrella of running the office, would you say, or to help me understand?
I'm not sure I'm the right person to ask that question.
I mean, is it staff?
It's staff, most of it's staff.
How many FTE are there?
Pardon?
How many persons are in that department?
I believe I'm going from memory, it's either 2 or 3 people.
3? Okay, and supplies? I mean, I'm just trying to understand what all it means to run an office.
Actually, a good part of it, just looking at the budget, a good part of that, the numbers I'm looking at were from included a pension grant. Most of that was actually for the pension grant we received.
Was from a pension grant or for a pension?
We received the dollars for the legacy pension cost, but we had to allocate the cost of that to each department, and then that was transmitted to MERS. They gave us the money, but we had to have an expense for that. And most of their budget actually goes to the legacy pension cost.
Okay, hold on. The tax revenue that we got from marijuana in February of 25 was, you said, 640.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I just looked at this just before I came to the meeting, so I just printed this out rather late. Yes, that's correct. About 300,000 of that is legacy pension cost. And that goes,
So
that really didn't come out of the city's pocket. That was mostly a legacy, came from the pension grant itself.
Okay, so if I'm understanding then correctly, the legacy pension cost, which I understand a little bit about, is a cost that the city has to cover. But my point is this: if I'm understanding you, it got spread across all departments, even if they never existed when the legacy was established.
It's based on the current staffing that we have.
Okay, so this 570,000 that it cost to run the office, you're saying 300 of that was for legacy?
Was for that, yes, sir.
Okay, and is that gonna
We received one more pension grant in this fiscal year. We're not likely to receive another one for a long, long time.
Wow.
So,
Well, who's pocketing the money, Mr. Moore?
okay, so when you say a grant, so there was money put into that department to be taken back out?
that's right.
So was part of that 570 was the legacy grant, or was the 570 all for marijuana?
The 570 was the cost.
I mean, I'm sorry, not the 570. The 640 was all tax money.
That's all the tax revenue.
Okay.
And the pension grant was something separate.
So there was a pension grant that was given to the marijuana department also?
Right, it was given to the city, and then it was spread among all the different departments. It's very generous of the state.
Because I thought I was following when you were having dialogue with Councilwoman in the second ward, where if I followed what she was deducing also, is there was a $70,000 net, but it really was more than a $70,000 net. If I'm understanding, because there was.
That would be correct, yes.
Okay, so I guess going back to what I was understanding her line of questioning being, what happened then, or how did we utilize, it wasn't $70,000, it might have been closer to 270 or 370. What have we done with that money?
It's just part of the general fund. The state
So if I'm hearing what you're saying, then it got taken out of the marijuana department and put back into the general fund.
Right, we follow the guidance from the Department of Treasury, the Department of Treasury says these are unrestricted funds.
I get that. So how then do we, or are we just saying as a, because they're probably, for myself as a resident, I might have been willing to trade the inconveniences, I'll call it, that come with legalizing or having these shops and different things available, because on the back end, there's gonna be some tax monies collected that's going to be what I would hope to be meaningful and in a way that I can see. But
request for information. Councilman Jared, so do you understand that that money could also be used for home repairs that the residents been asking about?
I follow that, but when it gets just sent back to the general fund and it gets commingled with everything, I almost can't say that it sort of gets commingled and lost in the sauce. That's what I'm saying.
I understand, but that's the rules that the state set, so.
I got it. But I guess, because I was probably expecting, or my expectation coming out of this is that we would be able to identify where the money went. That's what and I think that, not to speak for the councilwoman in the second ward, but I would almost
that's
made an
not
assumption
required
that was
that-
where we were going with this, or be able to go.
The state doesn't require that. There's some
Right.
funds where they require that explicitly, but this is not one of them.
Okay. I yield.
Any other discussion?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Hi, Mr. Moore.
Hi.
So, I mean, is this something we should be concerned about? Because I really just feel having this discussion with these funds, because they're unrestricted, that there may have been some inappropriateness. I like to shoot right down the middle, because this, and I'm catching all kind of different stuff over here. And so when people give us special orders, specifically on something with unrestricted funds, what's being done with them, is there anything inappropriate being done that we should know about with these funds?
No, we're being very careful that we follow the law explicitly for all.
I mean, I get concerned when Councilwoman Liddell Lewis states it could be used for home repair when she did not support that before.
The state of Michigan says these funds are unrestricted. They're part of the general fund.
Okay, so what have we been using it on besides
It's just,
salaries, fringe benefits?
it'd be for anything in the general fund would be appropriate.
But when we're taking it out, and Paul stepped up. So Paul, can you answer? No.
I just want to clarify.
Paul, like, no.
The money is in the budget. It's budgeted, approved by you to be spent according to the budget. I mean, this accusation about inappropriate spending really irritates me. Okay? And that's all I'm going to say. This is the most honest man I've ever met in my life, and I'm sick of the accusations.
So let me say this. Let me say this, because when we see this, I didn't put this on here. So let me be clear. When this comes up and I'm listening to my colleagues, we have the right to ask you if there's something, because it just doesn't come up. And I don't smoke marijuana, but some people do. And so when we're getting this out the blue and it's not budget time and we're being told, no one said no one's stealing, that's why we asked. That's why it was asked. And when it was said we should know, I believe that the money could be spent on home repairs.
It's
And
in
this
the
was
general
not,
fund.
this was not my special order. And so that is what council does. Council makes sure, and I didn't put it up here.
Yeah, I have no problems with the question. The only problem I have is I didn't have as much time as I would like to prepare for it.
And let me be clear, Mr., I don't know your last name.
Borley.
Morley?
Borley. B-O-R-L-E.
Thank you, I always, so Borley. It's not saying, and I like Mr. Moore, but when we have a CFO, sometimes the questions, when we're getting this, and it's a question regarding marijuana, and I'm looking at faces and expressions, and maybe you don't see that. This was not mine, then we have to ask the clear, and I like to put it because the public wants to know. And so if he states nothing is wrong, then Mr. Morley, we have to accept that. I want to clear the air because we're saying, well, you know, it could, point of question, order, you could be using this on home repair, and I'm getting it from someone who never supported home repair before.
What?
So.
Point of order.
Go ahead.
Okay, so she's speaking to my motives. There is nothing that signifies that I do not support home repair.
So it's just really.
You voted multiple times for home repair.
I know.
And so she's voted no several times for it also. So let's make
Request
that clear.
point of
she
order.
didn't vote for it every time.
What's
and that's
your
a
point?
fact, not
Okay,
speaking to her motives.
Again, she's speaking to motives and she's not telling the truth.
Not only that, but you must leave things that happened in the past in the past. That is
Where does it state that?
That is in Robert's rules. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, but is
Go ahead.
where's it
Continue
for us?
discussion.
Y'all can keep making up rules, but I want to be clear with this. I'm looking at this. I didn't bring this up, Paul. I'm not questioning marijuana because I actually trust what they do when I have a conversation with the people who run it. So I don't know when our deposits come in. I don't know. But when it's raised, I think it's a fair thing when it's Mr. Moore's job to answer for us. And so I didn't bring this up. But the conversations got really interesting and the sidebars did. So Mr. Moore, we have nothing to be worried about, correct? Because I want to put that
Right.
to rest before you walk away from the lectern or the podium. So we're good, Paul. Mr. Morley, are we good? Borley, I know. I'm sorry. So listen, so I just want to make sure everything else that we're walking away, nothing's being done inappropriate with the money. It can go into the general fund. It is in unrestricted funds. And I don't know why, of course, request for information. Councilman Lewis, why did you bring this forward?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Is she not answering?
No.
Okay, so she doesn't want to answer. Okay, I yield the floor. Thank you.
Thank you.
both
Any
of
other
you.
discussion? Go ahead, Dr. Lewis.
Thank you. And so I wanted to answer it during my time because I don't want to inappropriately take the floor. And so it was brought up because it is time for us to continue to do our jobs and be good stewards of the money. And so since we have a lot of time to do our jobs now, we're not stuck at a crazy impasse for no reason. It's time for us to dig deep and see what's happening. And so understanding how other municipalities are using marijuana money for innovative things. This is nothing against the marijuana office. This is about when the money is placed in the general fund, what are we doing with it? And it's so sad to see how I'm getting so much, energy for no reason when people say they support home repairs. If we identify funds that can be used for home repairs, then we can take this to the body, we can vote on it for the residents to have home repairs. But what we were talking about initially, when you were saying I didn't vote, I always voted in favor of home repair, but we had a certain amount allocated for it. We just can't grab money out of the air and throw it there. Just like with this, if we have an understanding that marijuana brings in $640,000, and then we continue to talk about how much money after that office is funded, how much money is placed in the general fund, that's extra money that can be used for the residents. Now, I do apologize that you don't like me enough to understand that this is for the residents. And so if this body, if they're interested in utilizing the marijuana funds for the residents, we can move forward. But just want to know how administration been using it, because we haven't been using it, haven't been going to the residents. Who have benefit from this money? And that is my question. So I do apologize. I'm not the person to ask, but I would like to know. And that's why I brought the special order to the floor, just so we can have a grasp on where this money is going, where it's landing. And so it's nothing about what your job, nothing about the office. It's about what are we doing, because this body, we get it confused a lot of the times. We handle budget and we handle ordinances. That is what we do. That is how we utilize our power. So asking about these funds and seeing how we can utilize these funds in the best interest of the residents, that's our job. Now, if you don't want to do it, that's fine. But this is why I put this special order here, so we can get an understanding. So thank you for telling me about the $640,000. Thank you for breaking down how the office costs $570,000 and how we have a surplus that's put into the general fund. Now it's at the pleasure of this body if they just want to move forward and not touch it, or if we can do something good with it. Because with this revenue money, I mean, we can have, I know that they voted down the ward spending. That's fine if they don't want to spend the money in their ward. That's fine. But we can utilize marijuana money to continue to supplement our ward spending going forward. No, I don't know what resident wouldn't want us to have some money so we can do things with neighborhood associations, so we can get rid of blight. I don't know. But if my colleagues don't want to do it, I'm one person, body of nine, that's fine. But I'm just trying to seek information. That's all I'm doing. No accusations, because I don't do that.
If I could say something.
Go ahead.
Please.
We're about ready to kick off our budget process. We're going to be next month providing the preliminary budget forecast. That'd be the best time for the city council to give us direction as to what they would like to see, because if we can do something at that stage, whereas if we don't hear about it until April or May, it's really hard to make changes.
Thank you. Any other discussion on this topic before we? I'm gonna thank you, Mr. Moore, for bringing that information to us. It's always a question, how much money are we getting in marijuana tax? Because we're just curious.
Yeah.
And I know that it goes into the general fund.
I think this is a good discussion.
Yeah, and so I appreciate your time in looking into that information for us. And who knows what the following year will bring because of the increase in the tax. I don't know if people are going to go back underground or what into their purchases. We shall see what next year brings. Thank you very much. Yes, I did. They'll dig a hole. And I'll close out that special order. Yep, we have one more. The next discussion item is 250373.
Mr. Moore, before you leave.
Wait a minute, can I continue?
Yeah, but he was leaving.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank you. I didn't see that. I was reading. A discussion item is requested by Council President Lewis in order to discuss the body's priorities for the professional service monies in the City Council's general fund budget line item. Go ahead, Dr. Lewis, this was your discussion item.
Thank you. So I was advised that the mayor was putting additional funding in this area, seeing that more council members are taking advantage of going to professional development trainings. Is that so?
I do know we've had council people go to professional training, and I think that's a good thing.
Okay.
Madam Chair.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I just want to clarify, the professional services line item
That means
is
not-
for, it's not the same as the conference and training line item for council members. The professional services line item is what's utilized for the audit and for outside services to the council. The training is a different line item.
The city clerk's correct.
Yep.
Okay. So as far as the training, you don't know anything about that?
I do know that we had, I don't know, 3 or 4 council people go to, I believe it's the MML that they went.
There's 5 of us who went.
I think the costs looked all very reasonable. And I know in the MML, they probably got some excellent training, so.
Okay,
This
because.
discussion item is on professional services. You've got this as professional services.
Well, yeah, that's how it was written up, so it was written incorrectly.
so
So
that's-
I'm speaking specifically to training dollars. So that's what I'm speaking
I
to.
didn't look into training dollars. I can get that information. I know that in the past, it's usually been allocated by so many dollars per council member, and so that council members can have about an equal number of dollars they can spend.
Yeah, Mr. Moore, I'll go ahead and clarify this some more and bring it to you correctly, because I
Okay.
don't want you answering a random question uninformed. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much, madam.
You're welcome. Is there any other discussion on the professional services monies? I'm going to take some time on this because I need to know how much the audit is budgeted for this upcoming year so that we know how much money we have. And I can't remember what resolution number it was that we approved the contract. So, did you find that, Madam Clerk?
No, I did not.
Okay.
But in the line item for this year, there's $350,000 budgeted. And the engagement letter for the audit we have not gotten the final bill for is $291,000 with other contingencies. And if you recall, the last audit, when it was all said and done for fiscal year 2023, ended up costing $401,000. So, yeah, that $350,000 is probably going to all be spent on the audit.
I would assume so as well, especially since it was delayed due to our cyber attack, as well as their scheduling issues. And then for the council's information, the Flint Housing Commission's audit was incorrect, and they had to go back and redo the Flint Housing Commission's audit. So we may need to add money into this line item to be able to provide for interpreters, and that's something that we'll need to discuss you and I can discuss that. So if seeing there's no other discussion, I'm closing this discussion item out, and I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. It's a motion to adjourn by the councilwoman in the 6th Ward. Is there support? It's supported by the councilwoman in the 5th Ward. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson's not in. The vote is 6 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 6 yes, 0 no. The meeting is adjourned at 7:13. Yes, ma'am. Probably not. Let me look at the, I think there's only one item and then the discussion item. And 2 discussion items. Okay, I'll wait. I'll wait. He's really he's really on a, what is the 5th?
The time is now 7:18 p.m. on Wednesday, November 5th. I hereby call this Governmental Operations Committee meeting to order. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Alamin is not in. Dr. Lewis?
Present.
Ms. Johnson is not in. Ms. Priestley?
Present.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Present.
Ms. Burns?
Present.
Ms. Mashat? Present. Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett?
Present.
You have 6 members present.
6 members present. It is now time for the reading of the disorderly person city code subsection. Any person that persists in disrupting this meeting will be in violation of Flint City Code Section 31-10, disorderly conduct, assault, and battery, and disorderly persons, and will be subject to arrest for a misdemeanor. Any person who prevents the peaceful and orderly conduct of any meeting will be given 1 warning. If they persist in disrupting this meeting, the individual will be subject to arrest. Violators will be removed from the meeting. Are there any requests for agenda changes and or additions? Seeing as how there are no requests for agenda changes and or additions, it is now time for public comment. Members of the public. Oh.
Madam Chair, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I do have a replacement resolution for the appointment that's on the agenda. It was discussed before that it had a typo on it. And so this replacement just corrects that typo, so I don't know that.
Oh, where it says reappointment, then says replacing?
Replacing someone.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think that you really need to do anything, but we just wanted to get that to you. So.
All right. Thank you. And her correction was just simply that the resolution on here has replacing someone's name at the end, and that should not be there. It is now time for public comment. Members of the public who wish to address the city council or its committees must register before the meeting begins. A box was placed in the entrance to the council chambers for collection of registrations. No additional speakers or slips are accepted after the meeting begins. Members of the public shall have no more than 3 minutes per speaker during public comment, with only 1 speaking opportunity per speaker. First public speaker, Madam Clerk.
And I'm only going to call the names of the people that are still in the room, so if I miss your name, please let me know. First speaker is Stanley Wood.
Good evening. It's gonna be probably quick. The money raised for the domestic violence last week, I appreciate everybody that did it. I don't know where the money went. I hope it went to the YMCA or YWCA. But I think that was a good thing. Councilwoman Lewis, I know you didn't do this intentionally, but it kind of sounded like you were selling a vote, even though I know that was not the intent. To say I would vote yes if everybody matched the money. I would just watch, you know, kind of things like that, so it doesn't give the wrong answer. We're asking, you know, about the weed money and where's the weed money at, and as Councilwoman Priestley said, you know, they've been asking that for a long time, you know, where's this money at, where's it going? Well, us citizens have been asking over and over, where's the ARPA money? How much is left of the ARPA money? I think a lot of us would really like to understand that. The Color of Law Coalition girls, I got to give it to them. That's they're doing something that touches my heart on the unhoused community. So I'd like to make a challenge to everybody sitting up there. After hearing them talk, I sent $50 to Taylor Sampson for the cause. I'd like to challenge each person, if they would, to help out on this endeavor. It's a great idea. They're putting their own money in it right now. And if anybody wants to help, I would say get with one of the girls, ladies, I'm sorry, don't mean girls. And I'm probably gonna give more. That's just what I could afford tonight, but I'm gonna try to give more, but I challenge everybody up there to consider doing that. Thank you.
Thank you. Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
Next speaker is Sarah Houston.
I'm not going to be up here long because I didn't write anything out, and I tend to like to write my thoughts so that I can articulate them better. I like to write my thoughts down so that I can articulate them better, but I'm just sitting here and thinking that, you know, I did approach and I spoke some names, and I didn't hear anything into regards of accountability. It would be nice if you know you made a mistake to say, yes, I made a mistake, I did know better, and I should have known better, and I will do better. But when you sit there and you take your whole 3 minutes talking about the very event that I talked about and didn't even acknowledge that you made a mistake in that event, it just says a lot about you, and it just says to me and to anybody who's watching that you just don't care. And I would just like to feel like somebody actually cares. I was very happy to hear that there is going to be something in the budget. There's going to try to be something in the budget. So that's very satisfying for me. That's why I stuck around for a couple minutes, because I got to go be a grandma and babysit and then a mom and pick my son up from school and stuff. But I would just ask that you guys would start taking accountability for your mistakes and your actions so that people can know and see that you actually do care and listen when they take time out of their day to come out here. I've been gone all day. I drove to Grand Rapids today and came right home and saw what time it was and said, oh shoot, let me get to the council meeting. So if I care enough, I would just ask for you to care enough to at least respond, you know, and say something, make me feel like you hear me or something, anything. So I appreciate you, Dr. Carter, for coming and speaking to me. I appreciate Councilwoman Johnson for apologizing for her mistake that she made. And I just hope that you guys have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
Next speaker is R.L. Mitchell.
Hello, City Council. I'm R.L. Mitchell. Live in the 3rd Ward over there by the graveyard. Like I said last week, I was with my significant other, and I was with her today too. And last week she asked me, do you want me to pay you for raking my leaves or go out to dinner? I said the dinner, because I wanted the romance. I ain't been romance the woman ever since I had my wife. So matter of fact, she got a husband too. And anyway, she said she wanted to go out back. We got on Miller Road, then she saw IHOP. You said, wait a minute, you want to go to IHOP or Outback? I said, girl, IHOP. But I went to IHOP with the steak. She ordered steak dinner out. The steak dinner was frozen. I already told you that. But I went there Monday. The pancake was so good. I went Bob Evans, and Bob Evans cooked me some raw pancakes. And I said, the thing is, they said I messed up. I said, you're not better than IHOP. But the day she came and got me again, it took me on Miller Road. It took me to dinner, took me to the El Rancho, whatever the place you eat all you can eat. I'm glad she did that, because somebody was in there and she started talking to me, Mitchell, I want you to know they called me last night. They finna give me all my money for the first one being poisoned and Flint for the water. And then what time she said that, a man walked up and he was Mr. Bishop. He married a woman, she's a bishop. And I said, she said the thing gonna be tomorrow. Everybody and you, the 5th Ward, talking about welcome you people ain't a one coming in. She got a street on York Street, all blacktop, and Mr. Brown was trying to explain he got to have the equipment to finish the job. And Mr. Moore acted like he don't give me the right numbers for the money. But he said, I said, this is Ward 1, the one that he couldn't think of the guy. They said, no, I'm in 3rd Ward. I said, see, they got everybody in thinking like this woman, because that's May's neighborhood. They trying to get all them houses. The land bank done got them $55 million. It act like they called him a shot, but Brown and said it. But he say, and then he said Mays. Then he started talking about May. He said he thought May was wrong, but he listened to May was educated for this stuff. But he wanted to make sure everybody listen to my voice right now in Flint. come to the meeting tomorrow. The people ain't telling you about, because they calling people on the phone, giving them their water settlement, but they're gonna bring all them down here tomorrow. And City Hall at 5 o'clock, she told me at 6 o'clock. Mitchell, she dropped me off a few minutes ago. That's manufactured. It's what in the, this, out there, I got my hand almost cut off out there.
Thank you. Next. Oh, you said that was the final public speaker, Madam Clerk? There's one more? Okay, next public speaker, Madam Clerk. Thank you.
Stay tuned, America. You don't see how these trick-or-treat
Thank you. Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
Over here, swart quick.
The next speaker is Rich Jones.
How y'all doing today? A while ago, y'all passed a resolution or something as far as getting that gun range over in the 3rd Ward. Because, and I like that idea because of more visible of police officers and more availability for police officers, and I was wondering how that would go. I've been missing from these council meetings, but I have been watching, and people have been asking me a lot of questions. I have spoke on the North Flint Foods Plaza, so I'm going to speak up here that way. Don't nobody say no back talking or nothing. First of all, if I was the members of the council people up here that do not want to vote for it, I would forfeit my membership, and then I would go ahead and get us the resident to vote. If I was on council as a council person myself, I would keep my membership, I would sponsor somebody, and I would vote for it. I would rather have people troll me, say negative stuff about me for trying to do something to help the people. Before y'all got on this council, hell, let's just keep it real, before we was born, how many businesses was given a tax break, and when it came time for them to pay taxes, they left our city? It's been a whole lot of bad ideas that ran through our city. If this is a bad idea, at least it's our idea, as in the people. Think about how many black businesses that are not open now in our city. Stores that we grew up walking to, like Lucille's. We don't own nothing now. Give us a chance. I remember when the RS kids came up, I was thinking like, how they get so much money, but they need $1 million from the city to get over the cross-fitness line. It was explained to me, and I understand. And I feel that same concept should be used when it comes to funding the North Flint Food Plaza. Thank you.
Thank you.
The final speaker for this meeting is Tanya Jones.
Good evening, I'm Tanya Jones. I'm here because I'm advocating for my son, and opioid crisis is real. First off, Liddell, you keep asking about the money, and I keep asking about the money that went to Leon, $150,000 of the opioid money. So that's the main concern, like why did he get it? And that never got answered. So the opioid crisis is real. And I just seen Judy shake her head, but I'll be back with you. And Candace, Flint is small. I lived out in Davidson, and with Davidson had black mold, and I no longer reside there, but you're a Christian, and so, you know, I mean, it's election time gonna come, so you need to think of the people, because the people has the word, and they vote, but people supposed to tell where they really live at. So when they go to investigation, you know, everything will come out. So, you know, another thing, I want to say thank you for Hannibal, because with this case with Hannibal, with Judge Hannibal, John Cole wanted 12 years. He gave him 20 to 40. That's better than nothing. I'm dealing with my son to get him in therapy behind this. This goes behind, everything goes, after y'all go home, I still have to deal with my son. He's part of the opioid crisis. So Judy, I have copies, I hope everybody got one, received one. But 1655, my son lived there. He was not a squatter. He was on this drug at this house. This house is condemned. I picked this paper up today. So this is in your ward. I'm here. I've been here. Every time I come, when I first came, you're like, oh, squatters, they're squatters. My son wasn't a squatter. They charged him $800 a month. So these people are still at this house. Now, water's supposed to have been cut off since October 5th. So it's your ward, you telling me this long story about what you experienced. I'm telling you, these people are still there. I got my son removed from there, but these people are still there, so I must keep on speaking on it. So it's your ward. Would you go look at it? These people are still there. These are people get SSI. They take these checks. They go through family services. Family services placing them in these houses. My son didn't need to be placed there. I'm going to handle that. But they're here at 1655, and you don't care. But if I have to go to the news, guess what? These people need to be removed from this house at 1655. The water is off. It's listed as condemned. Have a good night.
Thank you. You said that was the last public speaker?
That's correct.
All righty. Is there anyone who wishes, is now time for council response. Council members may respond once to all public speakers, only after all speakers have spoken. Any individual council member's response shall be limited to 2 minutes. Is there anyone who wishes to speak during council response?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the 4th Ward.
Ms. Jones, you don't know what I've been doing with this house or not. I actually have been following up on this. My question, and which I cannot find a person to find out why, is the state paying rent to somebody who owns this property that is condemned? I have followed up with our building department. It is not a licensed rental. Why is the state paying for people to be in that home? Like I said, this is not back and forth, but I'm telling you that I have been following up on this. And I have driven by that house. So it is a concern, and I'm glad, thank you for giving me the address a couple of months ago. I have been following up since I had the address. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak during council response?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the 6th Ward.
Thank you. Ms. Houston, we only get 2 minutes, and it used to be you could respond to everybody, and they only give us 2 minutes, and they changed that. And it's hard if we have, because you do good work, and you're very passionate. But 2 minutes, by the time you have to kind of prioritize in 2 minutes, and whoever they will cut us off with the quickness. So I did see the video. I did see your comments where they did have an interpreter there, and I appreciate you educating us on that wasn't the correct type of interpreter, and hopefully they will do better. I believe we are supposed to have, I believe in April, and I have spoken with the clerk. Things in Flint move, but did you hear Candace answer for me? She said extremely slow, and I agree with you. If someone wants to come to a meeting, they shouldn't have to have call ahead, and I agree with that. We have not gotten or seen what type of technology and how they're doing it, because I believe the deadline is April of 2026. I understand you saying it's an urgency, and it really is now, because we have problems with food, with SNAP, and people are, when we're up here, people are calling and texting and emailing. How do we communicate to everybody? Because one thing, if you're living, you need food and water. And we should make sure everyone is able to communicate and hear what is happening in these council chambers. I will be following back up with the clerk to see where we're at with that, because it's in these chambers. With the mayor, we don't control that part at all. We can only, ask. And what I will do is when I find out, I will share that with you. I will do that.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak during council response? Seeing as though there's no one else who wishes to speak during council response, I will take my time. I know that someone just kind of come up here and they kind of correlated some water issues in Davison and voting and all of that. I'm not sure what's going on in Davison. Not sure what issues they have. I don't know anything about any mold or anything. So I just want to make sure that as we are connecting dots and advocating that we're not making it seem as though people are involved in things that they know nothing about. So I just want us to be very clear that I have no idea what's going on in Davison. I'm not connected to anything going on in Davison, not sure what's happening in Davison. No resident in Davison can vote for me. So I was trying to follow, I wasn't sure, so I'm not sure how to respond to whatever was happening with Davison. To Ms. Houston, I believe the very first time you came to council, everyone up here stated that they are in full support of having a sign language interpreter at our meetings. I know that there is something in the works. We are still waiting, just as you are. I do think that it is worth acknowledging the fact that sign language is indeed a language, and we are in the midst of a language barrier by not having an interpreter here. It was the same thing with the water crisis when it was at its height. When there were several language barriers we were failing to address, such as sign language, such as interpreters for people who we have a huge Latino population, and we were not, they found out, I think, even a year after it even went public. And so there are a lot of things that we need to correct as a city as far as language barriers, and we are working on them. I will now yield my time, and we can go into the consent agenda. What is the pleasure of the body?
Madam Chair,
Councilwoman in the 4th Ward.
separation.
Oh, thanks. There's complete separation. Moving on to appointment 250364-T.
Madam Chair.
Can I finish?
We didn't do an add-on, did we? This is just a, so I want to amend.
No, we're not adding on. It was just, she just wanted us to have the correct thing, because the only thing that was different was like, she just removed the
All
word
right, I thought we
replace it.
had to amend it, so, okay.
No.
All righty, I may move to.
So resolution 250364-T, which is the reappointment to Hurley Board of Hospital Managers, Brian Nolan. What is the pleasure of the body?
Madam Chair, I move to
Councilwoman in the
send to
4th Ward.
council.
There's been a motion to send to council. Is there support? I'll support it. Is there a discussion?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the 5th Ward.
Yes, Madam Chair. Do we have a resume for this appointment? Is it on the back? Yes.
Reappointment.
Do we have a resume for this reappointment? I know what I'm asking. Madam Chair, through you to
Madam Clerk.
Through you to Clerk Davina.
I'm sorry, no, that resolution was received with just the resolution itself, and normally, because he is a reappointment, I don't like to pull their old resumes because it's been some years, so, but that is how, it was just a one page, it was just a resolution that was submitted.
Well, and maybe you don't want to pull the old resume, their resume, because it's been some years, but, you can always call and ask for an updated resume.
That would be up to the administration. if
Okay,
they
well-
submitted the resolution.
Okay, well, I will not be supporting this resolution, this appointment tonight, until we get an updated resolution, an updated resume. And, they already know that we need the resume. I don't understand why they would continue to send appointments up without everything that the council needs. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in the first round of discussion? Seeing as how there's no one else who wishes to speak in the first round of discussion, is there anyone who would like to speak in the second round of discussion? Seeing as how there's no one who would like to speak in the second round of discussion, this is the roll call vote to send resolution 250364-T to council. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Alamin is not in. Dr. Lewis?
No.
Ms. Johnson is not in. Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter?
No.
Ms. Burns?
No.
Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett?
No.
And the vote is 2 yes, 4 no.
The vote is 2 yes, 4 no. That appointment fails. We are all done with appointments, so moving on to our special order discussion items. One is the discussion item on water testing update. We'll start with 15 minutes for now, Madam Clerk. And this discussion item is requested by Council President Lewis in order to receive an update on the City Council's request for water testing by an independent agency for approximately 100 houses within the 3,400 to 3,600 blocks of Brownell Boulevard. Is there anyone who would like to speak at this time?
I'll go ahead and take the
Councilwoman in the second ward.
Thank you. So seeing that administration doesn't have anyone here to speak to this, we can't speak to one another about it. Just wanted to make sure that we get an update because we let it fall off the radar. They let it drag on for several years. So I want to make sure that I park it here. So every week when we have government ops, we can have a discussion and we can see where they are because it looks like we want to make sure that they stay on the ball because this is 2 years delayed, and especially since we have 100 homes that we're going to test. So I'm putting this here on this discussion item to be a permanent fixture until this testing takes place. So that's why it is on this discussion item. That's it.
All right, is there anyone else who wishes to speak on this discussion item? Okay, I'll go ahead and take some time on this discussion item. Agree that it does need to be done, but I'm just wondering, was there any follow-up with the administration on what specifically council is requesting with getting this done? I know that at one point there were some questions from Councilwoman Priestley about where the money would come from. Clerk Donahue, has anyone from council sent you anything else to send to the administration?
No, they have not.
All right, so as of right now, the administration doesn't have a clear direction from council on what exactly we're looking for.
No, other than what was discussed, no.
Okay, so then what we'll do is we will urge all of our colleagues, if there is anything that you would like to see have happened with this, if we could get a list to Clerk Donahue, if we could compile that and you can get specifics and get that sent to the administration, because what we don't want to do is discuss something every week and they've not been given clear direction or communication from the council of what we're expecting now that we've passed this. So I want to make sure that we give them clear direction on what we're expecting since it has been passed, and then that way we can track some actual progress because they have a clear indication of what they should be doing. Alrighty. I guess with that said, discussion item 250374-T is closed. Moving on to discussion item, 250375-T, which is discussion item City of Flint Comprehensive Plan, a discussion item as requested by Council President Lewis in order to discuss the city's comprehensive plan, including a memorandum of understanding between the City of Flint, the City of Flint Planning Commission, and the Flint City Council. We'll start at 15 minutes for this one as well. Is there anyone who would like the floor for this discussion item?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the second ward.
So I received a letter from Robert Wesley, and it was stating that in order to have the city's comprehensive plan updated, it involves finalizing and signing off on the memorandum of understanding to create the planning process steering committee. And they said that a draft was presented to council based off of our feedback. It was amended, and they still haven't heard from us. So they're trying to get this MOU passed. They don't know what's the holdup. So I see that although we had it on our agenda, no one is here from administration to talk about it. So Madam Chair, do you have any information about this MOU for the comprehensive plan?
Thank you. I actually didn't even know that this discussion item was going to be on here. Otherwise, I could have been properly prepared with whatever may be needed. I think what we have to do here, Madam Clerk, same thing. believe at one point, and correct me if I'm wrong, Madam Clerk, they might have already sent the MOU at one point. We discussed it maybe last year. I think it's been about a year, if I'm correct, Madam Clerk.
Just doing a quick research, and I'm not sure if you actually adopted a resolution, but there was a resolution presented for your consideration, I believe, back in January. And then that plan is also a part of the budget adoption process. So I believe, I'm just looking at the resolution, that memorandum of understanding was included in that resolution. So what I'll do is check tomorrow and see if we have the adopted version, and then forward it to everyone.
Perfect.
But yeah, it was something from like January.
Perfect. And then additionally, is it possible that we can get someone here so that next week when we have this discussion item, that they can also participate in the discussion item so that we can go ahead and get this taken care of?
So on the 19th?
Yes, our next committee meeting for governmental ops.
Will do.
All right, perfect. So I guess our resolution for
Madam
this,
Chair.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Councilwoman Priestley.
I just want to state that we do need to update our comprehensive plan because there's several things that the city is lacking that precludes us from getting like money from MEDC so that we can encourage investment in the city. And the comprehensive plan is definitely one piece of that as well as some others. But that is one that we really need to address, and I don't think that this was passed during our stalemate.
So, okay, so is your suggestion to, because I hear what you're saying about the timeliness and some things that are being held up. So does it need to stay in committee for another week, or should we make sure that this discussion item is on special affairs, that the clerk provides the resolution, and then we discuss it in special affairs with whomever needs to be present?
That's fine.
Okay.
And that way, by having it in special affairs, we can ensure that employees will be present.
Alrighty, thank you so much. So, Madam Clerk, I'm going to order a discussion item for special affairs. And if we could make sure that all of those pertinent to this particular item is, we can make sure that they are present and available. I'm also not sure, Madam Clerk, if there is a resolution or something that we need to go along with that.
Yeah, I think it was something that you'd already adopted, so I'll just make sure you have copies of that.
We'll make sure we have a copy of that, okay.
Correct.
And then after that, once we have a copy of that resolution, is there anything that needs to be put on the special affairs agenda as far as another resolution? Or since we've already adopted it, what actions will we need to take from there?
I'm not sure. I guess I would have to, the letter from the Planning Commission to see what it is that they are expecting on their end.
Okay,
And we'll go
Councilwoman
from
Priestley, do you know? I don't recall. I'm just going to take the clerk's word for
I think it was
it.
a stalemate, 4 and 4 and 4 and 4 and 4 and 4, and we did not.
So what
adopt
we'll do is, if there is something that we need to adopt, we'll put that on special affairs as well, because we'll have that discussion item, and so council will have an opportunity to discuss and then vote or ask questions as they need to ask and vote however they feel they need to vote from there.
Okay. If you didn't, I will get with the administration to see if we can go with the one that they had presented before.
Okay. Okay, Councilman in the 9th Ward.
So were we, I don't remember, and it just could be my faulty memory at this point. Were we presented the updated comprehensive plan in full?
We were, and I think at the time you might not have been in agreement. I think you might have had further questions. I'm not quite sure. But what we can do is have Madam Clerk send all of that information to us so that we have an opportunity by Monday to kind of look over it and have any questions that we may have for any staff that are pertinent to the discussion. So also, if there is a plan provided, Madam Clerk, will you please make sure we have that as well? Thank you so much. Is there anything else on this discussion item? All right, so then our resolution to 250375-T is that I am ordering a discussion item for special affairs. In the meantime, our clerk will provide us with all information that was provided for us in the past. We'll have anyone that needs to be present for the discussion during special affairs, and we'll be able to move forward from there. With that said, I will go ahead and close out this discussion item as well. There's been a motion to adjourn by the councilwoman in the 4th Ward. Is there support? I'll support it. Been moved and properly supported. Roll call. Madam Clerk.
Dr. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson is absent. Ms. Priestley? Yes. Ms. Winfrey Carter?
Yes.
Ms. Burns is not in. Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer is absent. Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Alamin is absent. The vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
Vote is 5 yes, 0 no. The time is 7:53 on November 5th. I hereby adjourn the Governmental Affairs Committee meeting.